Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the She Who Leads podcast. And in today's episode, I want to talk about how you cannot really make a mistake with your soul business. And I actually got a message from Source to talk about this topic with you today. And I really can see why, because that's something that I've been working with a lot lately, seeing how, mistakes don't really exist in the business. Because when we are super afraid, when we are afraid of making a mistake, we are actually limiting ourselves from a lot of possibilities that actually could up level us even further and faster, right? A lot of the times, if you talk with super successful people, they will tell you that a lot of the times, the things that actually made them successful, the things that actually helped them grow their business so much or so big, is doing the things that other people would deem as crazy, right? Like other people would deem as, oh, this definitely will be a mistake. Like, don't make this because like no one makes this. Like everyone will tell you this is a mistake. And mistakes are a very interesting kind, to be honest. For me, like it's a very interesting species because we are taught for a very young age that there are good and bad things in this world, right? Like that is something that is ingrained in us very early on, that you can do things that are bad and you can do things that are good, right? But we don't really stop for a second and think about, okay, so this is bad, but by whom? Like, who is the judge of telling me what something is bad and what something is good? And that person who is telling me that, oh, this is actually a mistake and this is bad, what is the lens that this person views the world with? And is that lens the same lens as I want to view the world through, right? So that's already like something that is a very interesting piece of this, of when we learn something, learn about something that this is a mistake, we usually tend to use other people's lenses, right? We use our parents' lenses, we use our teachers' lenses, and we don't really listen to what we would believe to be good and true. We don't really listen to our intuition. We are not listening to our soul. We are not listening to that voice that's actually leading us all the time. We are listening to someone else's, a lot of the times, fears, right? Because mistakes are very much tied to fear of making the wrong move, which is actually coming from the fear of, oh, if I make this mistake, I lose something that is important to me. Or if I make this mistake, then I actually experience something that I don't want to experience. Like these are mistakes, basically. This is why we want to avoid them at all costs, because we believe we are either losing something that we have or want, or we are experiencing something that we don't want to experience. And that is coming from fear of not fully seeing the picture, fear of not seeing how actually everything is good and bad at the same time. So when we are actually using this judgment that, again, we learn from others, we are actually using their own fears to classify something as a mistake or not. And that is actually what shapes our perception of what we will believe are mistakes in our lives and in a business that we are doing, which is again coming from either someone else's fear that we learn or our own fear that we developed based on the experiences that we had. Now, when we look at the soul pool, which is what the soul business is built on. Again, if you're new here, the soul pool is basically your purpose, what you are here to create, why you are here in this lifetime, what is the change that only you can bring about through this fulfilling this soul pool. And we're talking about business here because that's my jam, building a business from your soul pool. So when we look at how the soul pool works, how the soul pool business works, is basically the soul chose a goal. The soul chose a purpose. Actually, the soul chose a lot of purposes, a lot of little different goals. Soul desires, basically, soul goals. But like, let's just say you have one big soul goal that you want to achieve in this lifetime. Now, how the whole road, the journey to this goal works is that there are 1,000 and a million, and I want to say infinite plus one ways to get to that goal. So it's almost like you wanting to go to the top of the mountain, right? When you want to go to the top of the mountain, you have so many ways to get to that mountain. Like, there's a very rare occasion, I don't know if there's any, that you can only get to the top of the mountain in one way, because you can choose to go, like climb up with the steepest, is it the word steepest? Yeah, the steepest route, and like climb up there, like that is the shortest way up. You can choose to go, around the mountain and choose, like, I don't know, the different views. You can choose to go shortcuts in different ways. Like, there are a lot of different ways to get to that top. The only difference between these routes is the experience you get to have while you are getting to that goal. And that is a very, very big difference, which people are not really aware of. And that is also true with the business. And I will get like how that relates to the business. I just want you to see that basically, like the saying says, like, every road leads to Rome. That is really true. Every road that you take leads to your soul pool. The only difference is how you experience, what do you want to experience on that journey, because one route can be super fast, one route can be longer. Now, again, people usually tend to choose the fastest route, and I've been there. I've done that so many times. I have to tell you, I was the queen of speed. Like, I wanted to have things right away. I wanted to experience things like yesterday. Like, everything that I wanted it like as soon as possible. And when I started to figure this out, what I will tell you in this episode, and I realized, like, I can actually choose the route that I'm taking. Like, I have the choice, as you do. I started to choose the fastest route every single time. And what people don't really think about, and especially it is true with every single thing that you do in this lifetime, but it's especially true with your soul pool, the fastest route is the hardest route. But if you think about it with the mountain example, the fastest route, which is like, if you think about it, the fastest would be like the shortest distance from bottom to top. That would be basically climbing up on the side of the mountain, like, right? Like, that is the shortest amount, like, mathematically speaking, that is the shortest time frame. But that is the hardest one. Like, you have to literally climb up a mountain, which you will be sweating. There will be a big chance that you fall down and basically be the end of it. Like, that is a very, very hard path to take. And people tend to forget about that. Like, when people talk about manifestation and manifesting things quickly, they tend to leave out the part of, yes, that's possible. That is very, very possible. But also, you have to, quote unquote, pay a price for it, as you have to pay a price, quote unquote, for every other route that you're taking. So with the fastest route, you have to pay the price of it being super hard. and you have like very intense obstacles, you have a lot of obstacles, it will be hard, it will be sweaty, you want to give up like every single day, that is usually the fastest route. You can also choose the funnest route. Like that's also an option. You can also choose the most intriguing route. Like there's just, again, the difference between all of these is what is the experience you want to experience. And when you start to deliberately choose that, when you set intentionally the type of experience that you want to have, then you will start to experience, like it will help you feel less like making a mistake, because first of all you deliberately choose something and you deliberately chose an experience. And whatever road I am choosing and I'm having that experience, there's just no way I am making a mistake, because if I am enjoying what I am doing, I actually am doing what I chose to do, enjoying the journey to my goal. And that means that there's just no way I am making a mistake. Now, of course, there can be situations when you don't enjoy something. That again, like doesn't mean that you are not that you are making a mistake. It just means that you are actually out of alignment with how you are supposed to be on that journey. But really, that is a very important concept I want you to understand. There's just no way, because like like I said, the main reason we are so afraid to make mistakes is the belief that if we make mistakes, we cannot get what we want. Like that is one side of the fear of making mistakes. I believed for a very, very long time that if I don't do the exact perfect thing all the time, I am not getting what I want. That's why I wasn't able to keep up with diets and keep up with exercises and actually lose the weight that I wanted to lose for, I want to say, decades. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Since I was a teen, I was always having weight issues, and I tried every single thing under the sun and nothing changed. And the problem wasn't that they weren't working. Well, that was part of the issue, because like they weren't for me in that sense. But again, I never really stuck with them. I never really, were consistent because I felt like if I didn't do them perfectly, if I didn't do them the 100% of the time, I wouldn't get to my goal. And then, and that is actually a very big fuel for perfectionism, right? Like that is a perfectionist mindset, a wounded perfectionist mindset of, oh, okay, if I don't do it perfectly, then I am not doing it at all. And that's what actually kept me in a loop for so long with my weight and also with my businesses, my previous business, of like, oh, I did this launch, it wasn't perfect. Oh, the people, I don't know, didn't sign up, or the amount of people that I wanted didn't sign up. Oh, then I'm not doing it again. And that actually gets away the fact that it takes away from you the possibility, the option to actually perfect, like really truly perfect things, and find that essence, that uniqueness, that unique way that you can help people. Because running a program once is great, amazing. How much did you learn from that? I don't know, maybe 20-30% of what worked. Then you you take it away. And if you do that program again, then you can do it a bit differently and then tweak it and switch things up, and then see, okay, so how did that work? Oh, actually it was like 60% successful, like it helped 60% of the people. Wow, great, cool. And then you run it the third time, and then you see like, oh, okay, now this didn't work, so I need another tool for this. Or like, I tweak it like this, I tweak it like that. And then maybe for the next round, you are able to help 80% of the people who are in the program. See, like, this is how you get better and better. And this is how you actually get to a point where you have a program that is 100% effective, that is able to help 100% of the people who sign up, because you already tweaked it so many times and tested it so many times that you know what truly works, you know what people resonate with. And again, still, that also doesn't mean that that program is done. You still, every single time you are running that program, you are seeing how can this be even better, how can it be more effective, how can it be more relatable to people, how can they feel like it is easier or it's more effortless, or whatever you are going for with that next round. That is how that happens. But if you give up, how I did, at the first try, because, oh, if it didn't happen for the first try, that must mean that it is a mistake, that I wasn't able, I shouldn't have run this program at all, because this is not what people want. Oh my God, I did that so many times. I cannot even tell you. You are actually blocking your own success. You're blocking your own way of developing that perfect program that actually people need from you. So, one of the antidotes to that, to giving up, to feeling like you made a mistake, is to really root into the fact that the goal you set has many, many, many possible solutions. There are many, many possible ways to get to that goal. Like, that is the basic fundamental truth that I want you to root into, because that is how this world works. And if there are multiple ways to get to a solution, if there are actually multiple solutions to a problem, and there are multiple ways for you to get to a goal, that means that actually whenever you are trying something, it's just not possible to make a mistake, because you are actually, even if something isn't working, that is your way, that is a gain that you had of, oh, okay, this is actually not the road that I want to take. Great, cool, then I can try another road, or then I can try maybe this road again, but with a different perspective. So really trying to see at things of, oh, okay, this is not possible, that this was a mistake, because first of all, I gained something from it. That is something very important with a mistake. We always gain something from those mistakes. And when you get into the habit of seeing what I gained from this quote unquote mistake, then you won't see that as a mistake anymore. And really being deliberate of the experience that you want to have. Because when you can get into this habit of, oh, okay, I choose to experience something, I choose to experience a route that I want to take, then all those expectations that we tend to have ourselves, that tend to put on ourselves, which I am also a big, 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 I don't know, queen of expectations. Those will start to subside in a sense, right? Because again, we have this expectation to be perfect, right? When we have this expectation to be perfect, then if we make a mistake, then we feel like, oh, we are not perfect. So our expectations will lead to disappointment in ourselves, which, if we are disappointed in ourselves, then that lowers our frequency, and we are actually not able to be in that creative space that we need to be to solve situations, to solve things that are coming up in our business. And this whole thing, how that, like I told you, like this is relating to business, how this whole thing relates to business, is that the things that you want, the impact that you want to have with your soul pool, because I know you want to have an impact, like that is why you are here. That is uh, the road of the soul pool is much less about money. It's more about business. It's more about the impact that you want to have, like especially on the soul level. And yes, the money is always in the mix, but especially in the beginning, it usually comes from an ego desire, right? Because we want safety out of the money, we want freedom out of the money, we want to be our own, like want to be charged in everything in our lives, we want control from that money, right? I want to be able to call the shots however I want to call those shots. Like that is control, that is freedom, also again, like I said, safety. And those are the games of the ego. And the soul wants the impact. The soul really, really wants to have the impact. The soul wants to help. The soul wants to be of service, and the soul wants to experience itself. And when it comes to the soul business, the faster or the more you can let go of this concept of, oh, actually, if I try something, that can be a mistake. Anything that I do can lead to a mistake. The sooner you can disconnect from that idea and root into the fact that, oh, okay, actually, there's no way that I can make a mistake in this, it will open you up to so many beautiful things. Because the ideas that you set aside because everyone else said it didn't work, you will try those, and maybe those are the ideas that will actually work for you, right? Or the, I don't know, unique marketing messaging that you were toying with, but I don't know, your friend or your partner or whoever said that, oh, this will never work, like this is a mistake, this will alienate you from your current clients. You will run that message, and it will actually connect you with your soul clients, because that was the exact message that they needed to hear. Maybe they needed to be triggered, or maybe they needed to hear something from a very, very different angle that they ever heard before. And when you let yourself free, basically, like letting go of this concept of making mistakes in your business, you set yourself free. You set yourself free to experiment in a way that is bringing you amazing results. And to be honest, you have a blast on the way, because, and again, that's a whole different layer to this, how finding experimentation to be fun. But why experimentation as adult doesn't seem fun is because we are terrified of making mistakes. Because we believe if an experiment runs wrong, or we get a bad result, that must mean that, oh, okay, this is the end of the experiment and I shouldn't do this ever again, and I'm a failure. Again, I'm talking from experience here. And that's not true. Like, if you go to science, you see that scientists run tests 1,000 times before they ever go to a conclusion about anything. Like running something, experimenting with something once, they would never, ever make a conclusion of that, because that would be just like not enough data, right? But you get into this way of, oh, I actually experimented with this like 10 times or 100 times now, and I really see like, oh, okay, I feel like this worked and this didn't work, and this I kind of feel like it didn't work because of this, and that didn't work because of this. That it brings you in this creative genius space and energy that you are so capable to be in. And that's such a freeing feeling of just like, oh, I want to try this, I wonder where this leads, right? You will be able to do that every single time. You will be able to do that with your content. Just like try out weird ass content that no one ever tried out before, right? Or talk about topics in a way that no one really talked about before. Or I don't know, coming up with a new way of expressing yourself, because you want to try it, how it feels. It doesn't even need to have, like, and that's the other thing, that it is so hard to experiment for a lot of us, because again, we want the result. If we don't have a result, if we don't have the validation of the result of, oh, actually, I did this experiment, I got the validation that this worked, okay, so the time that I spent on this is actually well spent, right? But if I get a result that I didn't expect it, or I didn't want it to get, then it's very easy to get to the conclusion of, oh, I wasted my time. this was for nothing. And again, experiments are here to figure out what doesn't work also, right? In science, again, they also trying to rule out things. So they run experiments to see, okay, what is a good result and what is a bad result, and how can they rule out the things? How can they, right? But for example, I really don't like the pharmaceutical example, but I don't have a better one. Is that like when they are developing pills, and let's say in a perfect world, when they are developing like medication, uh, they need to test that medication so they see the side effect, and then they can tweak that medication so then they can subside those side effects, right? They put in stuff, they get out stuff, and it's a very important piece of the process of figuring out what can go wrong with this. And then when you see what can go wrong with that, then you can actually have solutions for that to not happen the next time, right? And that is also part of experimentation. That is also part of the soul business, for you to be able to experiment, to see, oh, okay, I did this was bringing out these problems or these situations. It didn't work because of these. Okay, so next time I'm running this, I need to be aware of the fact that this is a possibility. What can I do, like right off the bat, so they don't happen next time, right? That is a very, very valuable thing to have, a very, very valuable way of thinking, and a very, very high frequency way of creating. That is the road to mastery. That is the road to becoming the world's best in whatever you are doing. The way of becoming the entrepreneur, the soulpreneur, who is actually literally is never making mistakes, because you already made all the mistakes in the world and know how to avoid them, know how to do something without, having a flaw is not the right word, but like really creating something that actually works 100% of the time. That is the road to that. And letting go the concept of mistakes and letting yourself experiment in your business in any way possible. Again, maybe with a new type of content, maybe with working differently with your clients, maybe with going with those crazy ideas, quote unquote crazy ideas, but everyone else deems as crazy. Going with those ideas and testing them and seeing how they land and getting your insights from those experiences, that is what will set you apart, and that is what will set you sail on your soul path, soul pool business so much and so much further. Like really, truly, that is one of the key to having the most successful business, the most successful soul business that you can possibly have. If you need help with that, I'm here. I'm happy to help. You can book a free discovery call, a free clarity call, where we can see how you can actually start experimenting with your business, see how you can set yourself apart, what is something that can bring you closer to your soul pool, if that's something that you're still looking for. But anyhow, like if you need help with letting go the concept of mistakes, you can have that. I'm happy to help with that. But also just by seeing and asking yourself the question every day in your business, okay, what is an experiment that I can run today that I can learn from? What is a crazy thing that everyone else would think that I am crazy for, that I can try today? And seeing like, okay, I want to get to this goal. What is 2 different roads that I can take, just to prove yourself that there is no one right answer to a solution? What are 2 different approaches that I can take? Like those are 3 very, very, very good questions to start by, and start seeing, okay, how mistakes are actually not possible and not there in your business. And again, there's like other components to this, how you can really like release um, the mistakes and feeling like you are making a mistake. But these are very, very good starting points that you can implement and see where those lead you. And again, if you need help, I'm here. But you're so amazing, and whatever way you choose, I know that will be the best possible way for you to move forward. Okay, thank you so much for being here. If you loved your episode, please give me a like. That helps me a lot. And also, if you have someone who you feel like needs to hear this message, it would be amazing if you shared that with them, because that helps me spread my message and help more people build businesses around their soul pools. And it connects you guys too. It connects you on a deeper level, because then you will have a beautiful connection based on care. So if you feel called to that, do that. And if you want to get notified of the next podcast episode, you can also subscribe to this channel. And I see you in the next episode. Bye.